Today, I'm joined by my good buddy Rick LePage
Howdy.
to talk about what we love about workshops, share some stories from the road, and just talk photography a bit. Well, hey everybody, it's Hudson.
And Rick?
And we're here to talk a little bit about workshops today, also tell some stories from the road that we had in our workshops this last fall, share some pictures, talk photography a little bit, share what we really love about going out with other photographers and talking about photography, practicing photography, looking through images, just immersing ourselves in photography together. And before we jump in and do that, we want to make sure everybody knows they're invited to our office hours.
January 11th?
January
We're going
11th.
to talk about filters.
Everything filters.
Everything.
Yeah, square, round, magnetic, threaded. What do you use a polarizer for and how, right down to that level, or, how do you calculate advanced exposures with 10 stops in neutral density? We'll dive in. You can leave your questions when you sign up at hudsonhenry.com/office hours, 10 a.m. Pacific, January 11th, hudsonhenry.com/office hours. And both Rick and I want to thank everybody for leaving all the amazing questions that you do when you sign up, because that really helps drive the content of office hours and approaching the scene as well.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk workshops for a second. And we want to go through a little slideshow of some of our favorite moments from the workshops that we were able to run here in 2021. We did four workshops, kind of compressed into the end of the year with an amazing crew of people in each one, and had a ton of fun. But, I get a lot of questions from people, what is the workshop experience like? How do you guys run workshops? Why do you love workshops so much?
Yeah.
And I think we do things a little bit differently.
We do things a little bit differently. We're going to take you to a place, set up your equipment, and have you snap a couple of pictures. I mean, it's kind of a ongoing, we do a little bit of experimentation. We're always out there looking at the light and the weather, just to try and see what are the best opportunities out there for imagery.
We enjoy the place that we go.
We love it.
Yeah. But I mean, we also go and kind of dive in, and you learn about, the food, the local people, the culture. And we're looking for new images. There's nothing wrong with capturing that iconic shot that maybe Ansel Adams took, or your great photographers of the past that everybody goes to capture. But sometimes we eschew that, looking for our own thing that we find along the way, or looking at the light and the weather and serendipity, and taking advantage of whatever we find on the scene, and sharing the knowledge of how to do that with the group. And the other fun thing that I find is that, by opening it up, doing a lot of image critiques along the way, sharing, looking at each other's images, you wind up learning as much from all the other participants.
That's one of the greatest things about the workshops is, you get the image review the day after where you go, wow, we were all standing in this general area, and everybody sees the world a little bit differently.
Exactly.
When they've got a camera in front of them. And that's to me one of the most amazing and interesting things about the workshops.
We sometimes get days too jam-packed full of action and taking pictures and traveling to do image reviews, but we try every day to look at images that everyone took from the day before, and it turns into this just group, wow, how did you see? Everybody's cheerleading each other. So, on that note, let's jump in and look at some of the images just from the 4 workshops that we ran this last year, before we jump in and talk about what we've got coming up for next year.
Right.
We've sold, just a brief preview, we've sold out the beginning of 2022, and we just posted workshops for the end. And we're going to be going to Yellowstone, the Tetons, Owens Valley, which is really exciting, and Portland.
Right.
Those all have slots open. And we have workshops that are sold out through the first half of the year that there are still waiting lists, and we get a certain amount of churn. Sometimes somebody has something come up, a family illness, something.
Right.
So you always want to put yourself on waiting lists for those too. So let's jump in. We're here in the Brookings workshop, which is the first sort of
at the end of August, beginning of September.
Beginning of September.
And that was fun. That was the first post-COVID, well, mostly post-COVID workshop we did.
Right.
And it was great. Everybody was vaccinated. And we still sort of respected everybody's space. And it was just, there was so much excitement from everyone, just sort of
Just to
being
be
back
out
out. I mean,
in
you
a
know,
group.
the other thing that's just wonderful about these workshops is that, you know, it's like, how often do you really get to go off for 4 days or 5 days and really just think about photography?
Right. I mean, as you are all are watching this video, I'm actually with my family in Baja on a holiday in Baja trip. I've got, you know, my 4 and 5 year old, my aunt, 2 of her kids and their significant others, my wife. I will do some photography, but it is not going to be a photography trip end all and be all. You know, if I want to wake up really early in the morning and do dawn, it's going to be easier for me to do that than to try to pull myself away from family activities for sunset.
Yeah.
And my art is not going to be everyone's priority, or else I would be hated. So, so these workshops are an opportunity to kind of break free of that and make it all about photography from the moment you wake up till the time you go to sleep. And it's exciting. So this was down in Charlie's neck of the woods. Charlie is a frequent workshop participant friend who lives down on the Southern Oregon coast. And this has happened to me multiple times where I start doing workshops and then I meet these amazing people and they invite me to come visit where they live and we go, why don't we do a workshop here?
Yeah.
You know, David Archer in Charleston, South Carolina, Charlie down in Port Orford. So we ran one out of Brookings. This is in the Redwoods, just across the border in Northern California. Beautiful stand of redwoods that we scouted and went into. And then just the coastline down there is so magnificent. Here's our good friend Ron Abels down there. And we did a lot of Milky Way photography. We scheduled this for Milky Way period in a time of year where there's frequently clear skies on the coast, and we got some great Milky Way stuff. This image is courtesy of Josh Sitz, who was on the workshop. Great guy. And we were working with our Move Shoot Moves with the lasers, pointing them up at Polaris. I love that he took this shot while the rest of the group was setting up the Move Shoot Moves. It just shows you how amazing the lasers on that Star Tracker are.
Yeah, and it's another one of those things where it's like, you know, someone, inevitably you will get someone in one of these workshops who finds a photograph that is just, you wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just one of the most fun things about these workshops.
Absolutely. There's a little shot of Josh just to give credit where credit's due. Great photographer, fun guy. David, we had a blast on this workshop. Carl, just everybody was so happy to be out and about. Ron Abels. Ron comes on a number of workshops with us. We love Ron, and he's an amazing portrait model. I could show you image after image after image of Ron looking
You'll see
amazing.
a few of them here.
Yeah. This was testing that new 105 millimeter micro S lens for Nikon to see how it does for portraits. Spoiler, it's great. And then here's Ron in Yellowstone.
Yeah, Ron came with us to Yellowstone. Ron came with us everywhere this year. He was ready to be doing workshops again.
And it was a joy to have him. Yep. So this is in the Lamar Valley in Yellowstone. It's an amazing place for scenics and wildlife both. Here's David Archer, frequent workshop co-leader, great guy, epic photographer, wildlife photographer extraordinaire, photographing a crow. Tobe, an amazing woman that was with us out there, and just as we were getting ready for Milky Way.
Yeah.
There is our good friend Ken.
Yep. Ken's another frequent participant.
Yeah, he's itching to get that Z9.
Yeah.
And there's Rick doing his thing with Dale, talking a little camera, know-how.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time in the field sort of working with people one-on-one or in small groups, you know, just trying to help people sort of understand their gear, you know, how to think about certain situations and stuff like that. You know, we get people of all skill levels, you know, but I think it's rare when someone doesn't walk away, no matter what their skill level, with some great images and a little bit more understanding of shooting.
Yeah, including myself.
Yeah, me too.
And here's Al shooting at Mammoth Hot Springs early in the morning, just after dawn hit. Of course, you got to shoot Old Faithful.
Yeah, when you're in Yosemite or Yellowstone.
I always do that. I don't know why. Yellowstone and Yosemite are just so transposable. We had lots of great wildlife in Yellowstone this year. There was a moment with a bunch of bighorn sheep, a couple moments with bighorn sheep that were just
some elk and
incredible. Rick even got a shot of me shooting bighorn sheep. Rick getting people in El Jefe.
Yeah, El Jefe is our little secret weapon on these workshops, I tell you.
El Jefe is a great workshop tool. It gets us all into position with all of our gear and plenty of room to spare for 12 people.
Yeah. Inevitably, on every workshop, on the first day before we head out, someone will say, "Is all our stuff going to fit in that?"
Mm-hmm.
And you open the back of El Jefe up, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, it'll fit."
Yeah, because there's a queen-size bed and the whole space underneath it, and still room for 12 people to sit. So, I love this shot of you and Tom photographing the falls.
Yeah.
Well, I love backlight. I don't know if I can tell. Just out there on the.
And this is one of the things. This is Harris and Tobey, and one of the things that I love about the workshops too is just people sort of
make friends.
Yeah, they go out and shoot, they talk, it's a wonderful experience.
Actually, two of our friends from the Tetons are going to the Galapagos together.
Yeah.
This summer.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Anywho,
it's nice to watch.
It is.
It's really nice to watch.
Big Lens Bob.
Big Lens Bob.
I was skeptical of Bob when he was hand-holding this thing all over the place in the Tetons. We've moved into the Tetons here. But his images are sharp.
Yes, they were. He knows how to manhandle that lens, I will tell you.
He does.
Yep.
Here we are out at the famous Mormon Row on a morning as the clouds lifted.
Yeah.
Rick with some fall color. This, I don't know, I couldn't help but include it. This is Charlie, and just the situations that you find yourself in. We got this whole group of landscape photographers setting up tripods around a wedding shoot.
Overlooking the Tetons.
There's something holy grail about this whole shot to me. Roman out at the Oxbow Bend. That was a beautiful evening.
Yes, it was.
It really was. DC hunting buffalo with Roman in the background there. DC is such a great guy. Charlie and CJ, though, here's our two that are headed off to the Galapagos together.
Yep.
And this one just cracked me up. We had one morning with a dusting of snow in the Tetons, and we did a little photo shoot of Charlie.
Yep.
Looking good out there. You got Dave Hancock in there with the crew. That was a beautiful morning.
That was a beautiful morning.
It really was a beautiful morning. The fresh snow helped. And then we transitioned into Moab, and it was just a complete...
And Moab is I think it's probably my favorite workshop to do. I mean,
it's up there.
Every time we go to Moab, we just seem to, and we get weather all over the map.
Yeah.
And yet we somehow...
The images are just always...
Yeah, it's such a wonderful
special.
place.
Here's Double Arch, and Sarah sitting there, Rick down below.
Yep.
Looking up with his camera in a super wide angle, and the moon back there. David Archer out in Canyonlands. I love the layers out there.
Yeah.
There's Gary setting up that dawn shot of Turret Arch through the windows. Here's a shot of where we all are for that. Did you took
I shot that,
this one?
That was right from across the way that you were shooting.
We had our whole crew up in there.
And Ron was down underneath on a little ledge underneath you guys. It was pretty fun.
Up at Delicate Arch for a really beautiful sunset. This is a pano with a lot of our group in here.
Mm-hmm. One of the fun places to go.
Yeah.
Delicate Arch sunset is it's fun.
And here's Norman getting a beautiful reflection shot on the dawn morning in the windows. It was just a great trip, all in all. And all the workshops, each and every one, I have such good memories of this year, and it felt like after being sort of cooped up so long as everybody has been, being out there was so exciting. So, we're taking a break for the holiday season, and then we will be rolling back out to Joshua Tree and Death Valley. Death Valley is another favorite.
Yes.
I was actually talking to our good friend Dan Hawk from
right,
Luma Labs
yesterday.
He just went, and he'd been through it 20 years ago when he was young, like on a road trip from somewhere to somewhere, and it didn't register. He's like, dude, I was there for like 6 days, and I have several pages of notes of where I want to go back to next time.
Yeah.
Because it's just, he's like, I had
Death
no
Valley
idea.
Death Valley's right up there too.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get back there.
Yep. And Joshua Tree will be great.
Epic. So those are both sold out right now, but we've got waiting lists. So jump on those waiting lists. And I'm going to Costa Rica with David Archer to photograph wildlife. That's going to be a ton of fun, and we've got a ton of fun workshops coming up. And like I said, we've got slots open still in Yellowstone and the Tetons for next fall.
Yep.
Owens Valley's filling really. They're all filling fast, but Owens Valley's filling really, really
Owens
fast.
Valley is going to be a very special workshop.
It is.
We've been talking about doing this. It's one of our favorite places in California. It's such a beautiful place in fall, and there's so much to shoot there.
When I grew up going there with my grandfather, it was like my grandfather's favorite place to go on the summer vacation was in Mammoth and the area around it, and down in Bishop. And so
Galen Rowell's home.
Galen Rowell's hometown. We're basing it out of Bishop. We're going to do Milky Way up in the Bristlecone Pines at high elevation in the Inyos and Mono Lake and
Alabama Hills.
It's going to be
epic. I think that one's going to be epic.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. And we've already got a pretty cool crew assembling for that. So.
Yep.
So anyhow, if you're interested in coming out with us, the other thing is we run projects, which are similar in some ways without the travel and at a cheaper entrance expense to people. If you want to kind of get a taste for working in a group, in a joint venture, reviewing images together. We're doing a panorama project in February.
Early February.
If you want to sign up for that, we limit it to 10 people. We'll be doing online Zoom meetings, and then you'll have, however much time you want to put into it to sort of work on your panorama skills. And then we'll all get together, do reviews, sort of keep that project moving forward. And then we have kind of a celebration Zoom meeting where we go through everybody's images and have a happy hour. So
and it's over the course of, I think, 10 days. We time it so that the weekends we do sort of the Zoom calls and stuff like that. We have a WhatsApp group that we basically use to sort of communicate during the week.
So everybody can collaborate.
Yeah. So we'll start with a sort of overview of panos, a little very short exercise that sort of gets you going and thinking about it.
Right.
And then sort of a week-long project that we close with on the second weekend. And it's important to note that you don't have to buy anything special.
No.
All you really need is your camera.
Yeah.
We can do panos with phones.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about how to sort of get handheld panos, phone panos, and
advanced panoramas.
Yeah, if you're
multi-row,
interested.
whatever, however far you want to go.
Yeah,
we'll work to get you there.
Yep.
So that's coming in February. You can find out about that at hudsonhenry.com/projects. You can find out more about these workshops at hudsonhenry.com/workshops. I am so glad to have Rick doing these projects and workshops with me because the two of us just work really well together. We have a good time. And it's great to be able to split up and work with people individually. And, I often felt when I was running workshops by myself, I need a clone of me. Well, Rick is far better than a clone of me. Far better. You don't want two of me.
You don't want two of me either.
All right. So I hope everybody is enjoying these holidays. Staying safe, staying creative, and Rick and I will be seeing you in office hours on the 11th of January to talk filters. Don't forget about that, 10 a.m. Pacific. Sign up at hudsonhenry.com/office hours and leave your questions about filters or anything else, really. We'll see you then.
Yep.
Thanks, Rick.
Yep.
All right.